Kaisa builds are all over the place right now as there's a new lethality setup that pros have been playing in solo queue. Is full AD LeBlanc actually the best way to play her now? We've got all this and much more to cover as we bring you guys 10 of the most OP builds that have been popping up over the past patch. But before we get into it, be sure to check out SkillCapped if you want to truly get better at League of Legends. We're the only service that offers a money-back guarantee if you don't climb at least 5 divisions while actively using our service. We do this because our service really does work, and if it doesn't work for you, you shouldn't pay. Learn more at the end of this video or click the link in the description below. There are so many top lane champions who are amazing with Spear of Shojin right now, but the item is just not being prioritized as much as it should on set. The majority of set players are running Titanic Hydra as their second pickup, but Spear of Shojin in its place is extremely powerful. The 2-item combo that is giving set a lot of strength right now consists of rushing Stridebreaker and going Spear second. Both these items were buffed in 13.17, and it provided set with a very deadly mid-game spike. With all the ability haste, the dueling power of set becomes super nuts as you're able to spam out Q for not only more damage, but to easily stick onto enemies. Set Q is on a 5-second base cooldown when you get it maxed out, but when you factor in the haste from Stridebreaker and Shojin, the ability drops to a 3.1 second cooldown. The complete 3-item core that you'll be looking to run is a Stridebreaker Rush into Spear of Shojin second and Steric's Gauge third. Conqueror is the Keystone Rune with Triumph, Alacrity, and Last Stand. Optimal secondaries are Second Wind and Unflinching. Another top lane champion that you need to be running Spear of Shojin on is Olaf. Olaf works absolutely amazing with Spear of Shojin because he's a champion that thrives in those 1v1 duels. The extended fight power when you have Spear of Shojin just becomes ridiculous as your Q will be insanely spammable, giving Olaf a ton of damage and sticking power. When you couple this extremely short cooldown on Q with the active slow from Stridebreaker, the enemy is going nowhere if you can get on top of them. With Ghost popped, ultimate available, and this 2-item core of Stride and Shojin completed, the counterplay for the enemy against a fed Olaf is literally non-existent. Complete 3-item core that you'll run is Stridebreaker into Shojin second and Steric's Gauge third. Grab Conqueror for the Keystone Rune with Triumph, Alacrity, and Last Stand, followed by Biscuits and Approach Velocity for secondaries. There's a brand new Rengar build that has been gaining popularity over the past patch, and it consists of rushing Axiom Arc. Axiom Arc has been buffed so many times over recent patches, so it's about time players start picking up on its strength. Currently, Axiom is winning the most for any rush item on Rengar, but it's only being picked up in around 3% of games. Rushing the item makes a ton of sense on someone like Rengar because he's such an ult-reliant champ. The snowball potential from rushing Axiom Arc becomes completely insane because the passive from Axiom reduces your R cooldown whenever you get a takedown, so you can kill the enemy with R, and then when they respawn, you'll have R up already again to just rinse and repeat. After rushing the Axiom Arc, second item will be Duskblade followed by a Ravenous Hydra third. Since hitting this Axiom spike as soon as possible is vital, the rune page is going to revolve around the inspiration tree. First strike is the Keystone Rune with Magical Footwear, Futures Market, and Cosmic Insight. Roll with Eyeball Collection and Relentless Hunter for secondaries. There are a bunch of interesting Briar builds circulating right now, but one that's most unique, seeing a ton of success, but still on the underrated side of things, is Crit Briar. On the analytical front, Quick Blades is actually Briar's highest win rate mythic item at the time of making this video. Since Briar has the attack speed steroid on W, it makes the value from Quick Blade's passive better for Briar than most champs, since she can get a flurry of autos off really fast to reduce her ability's cooldowns. Bruiser is by far the most popular and consistent way to play Briar right now, but in the right spots, this crit build can do a ton of work. If you guys are not aware, Briar has absolutely massive AD ratios on her abilities, most notably her E, which has a 340% bonus AD ratio. The one-shot power is real and makes going for a more offensive crit build when playing into squishier comps really good. It's almost like you're playing Briar as an assassin with this build. Just to be clear, if you're going up against a comp that consists of more bruiser or tank champions, running the standard bruiser Briar build is going to be more optimal, but into squishies, crit is great. The complete core build for this crit setup is the Collector Rush into Quick Blade second and Black Cleaver third. Rune page is super unique as you're going to run Hail of Blades to enhance the quick burst power of the build. You also want to take Ultimate Hunter as this squishy crit build is more reliant on finding picks with R to be most effective. It feels like every few patches there is a new Uction build that surfaces, and in 13.19 a new crit build is gaining traction. Shiv is just such a nasty item right now that if your champion has the ability to abuse it, they really should be, and Uction is finding great success rushing it. It's the second item in this build path that is more unique though, and something we have not seen very much on Uction in the past, being Navori Quick Blades. Quick Blades actually has really nice synergy with Uction's kit because his passive gives him the quick double auto, which works amazing with Quick Blades passive. Uction E procs on hit effects as well, well, so when you're flying through the air and hitting the enemy, you'll simultaneously be reducing the cooldown of your Q and W. You've just got some really nice skirmish from this build, and a bit more upfront burst as well in comparison to going the on-hit setup. Action R damage is going to hurt a lot more too, since it scales off your bonus AD, and this crit build has a lot more AD than on hit. So for the complete 3-item core, it's a static Shiv Rush into Quick Blade 2nd and Blade of the Ruined King 3rd. Fleet Footwork is the Keystone Rune with Presence of Mind, Alacrity, and Coup de Grace, followed by Bone Plating and Overgrowth for secondaries. Over the past patch, a brand new Lethality Kai'Sa build has been on the rise, and it revolves around rushing an Umbral Glaive. Believe it or not, Umbral Rush Kai'Sa actually has a higher win percentage than Shiv or Kraken Rush right now. A few patches back, Umbral Glaive received a small buff to its lethality, which is one of the reasons to why this build has more viability. We've also just seen Static Shiv nerfed multiple patches in a row, so in turn, it's made this lethality setup more attractive. After rushing the Umbral Glaive, Duskblade will be the second pickup. Third item isn't actually a lethality purchase, as you're going to be slotting in Nashor's Tooth. Where this build will thrive the most is into heavy squishy comps that you can easily one-shot. Kai'Sa Q evolved with this lethality core is going to deal a ton of burst damage, and you're playing for that quick upfront burst with this build instead of extended fight power. If you're playing into a tankier comp, then we definitely would not advise you go for this build because it's just not going to do a whole lot for you in terms of chewing through a beefy front line. Make sure to run Hail of Blades with this setup to amplify that quick burst power, as lethal tempo is just not worth it because you really shouldn't be taking extended fights in the first place. Although this build is not completely new, it has made a big comeback over the past patch, and it consists of rushing Stormrazor on Aphelios. Kraken Slayer has been the more optimal rush on Aphelios for many months, but now that Stormrazor has been buffed, the priority on the item has shot back up. Aphelios players who rush Stormrazor are actually winning about 2% more than those going Kraken, which is quite substantial. Does this mean you should just drop Kraken completely now and only run Stormrazor? No, but Storm should be slotted in much more often. It feels like this is the common theme with a lot of the builds in this video, but the Stormrazor rush is once again going to work best into comps that are less tanky. Kraken will be dealing more damage over an extended fight due to its 3-hit passive, so against a comp that is a tank top and jungle, going for Kraken would be superior there. Vice versa though, if you're playing into a squishy top jungle duo, it makes way more sense to rush the Stormrazor for not only more burst damage, but more kiting power to help space against those squishy dive champs. After rushing Stormrazor, it's going to be Gale Force as the mythic item, and then Bloodthirster 3rd. Fleet is the Keystone Rune with Overheal, Bloodline, and Cut Down, followed by Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm for secondaries. A very niche support pick who becomes stronger for 13.19 and has a very interesting build path is Lissandra. Lissandra's support has been getting attention over the past couple of patches as a good answer to melee engage supports. Lissandra's point-and-click lockdown makes it very difficult for those dive champs to reach her carries, as she's got very reliable peel strength. The build is not really what you'd expect for a traditional mage like Lissandra though, as you're rushing Even Shroud for the mythic. This is full-out utility Lissandra. You're not really picking her for the damage threat. It's all about maximizing the ability for your ADC to thrive and stay super safe. After rushing Even Shroud, you have two options, being Zanya's or Imperial Mandate. Whichever item you don't build second is going to slot in third. Mandate is the more offensive pickup, while Zanya's is more defensive, so depending on how the game is going, if you're snowballing, you can get away with Mandate, but if you're behind and looking to stall, the Zanya's is good value. Rune Page is focused on the durability aspect as well, with Aftershock as the Keystone Rune, followed by Font of Life, Bone Plating, and Unflinching. Run Perfect Timing and Cosmic Insight for secondaries. A new offensive Senna build that a lot of high elo players have started gravitating towards over the past patch consists of rushing Stormrazor. One of Senna's massive weaknesses is the fact that she relies heavily on proper positioning, and any misstep can be punished super hard due to the squishy nature of the champ. Storm complements Senna quite nicely in that regard, as the movement speed from the energized proc helps with her spacing and ability to kite around in fights. Of course, Stormrazor was just buffed, so that is the major reason to why this build is popping up more. Second item on the build path is Infinity Edge, and then Rapid Fire Cannon is purchased third. Some really nice long-range poke power from this build once you have it complete, which is super nice for Senna as it lets her play at a safer range and still output damage. Fleet Footwork is the best Keystone Rune on Senna with Presence of Mind, Alacrity, and Cut Down. Grab Biscuits and Approach Velocity for secondaries. Alright guys, before we wrap this up, let's tell you a little more about SkillCapped. So, we offer a 5-division rank up guarantee, and think that's a pretty crazy thing to offer. It's like a gym membership guaranteeing you'll get ripped. Your local gym would go bust if they offered that, right? Not us. We've offered this for years because our service really does work. It works so well, in fact, that we're able to produce by far the largest catalog of premium league guides on the internet. We add over 20 videos a week, with over 1,600 guides curated into over 100 courses no one can compare. We've also sent Challenger players into ELO Hell 714 times and counting, where they commentate how to carry live. They also respond to all questions asked. Sign up today for as little as $6.99 a month if you are serious about improving. So that's going to wrap up everything for this one, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Good luck with these new builds, and we'll see you in the next one.